cock your pistols.
Yes, Catalani's here. I'll tell her.
Come to California.
Excuse me, Annie. I just got word Houston's on his way out.
Oh, thanks. I'll call the doctor.
I really enjoyed your autobiography, Dr. Denny. Saving lives must give you lots of satisfaction.
It does. But the ultimate satisfaction will come when we complete our new research.
I just hate to cut you out of the herd, Doc, but Houston is going to be here in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
I'll be right along, Annie.
Barney, do you know anything about the test results?
No, Walter, I'm sorry, I
Leave
don't.
Barney out of this, Walter.
Kimberly, I need an explanation.
Water, honey. Round up time, Dr. Belcamp. And Dr. Price. On the patio, please.
All right. We will continue this discussion later.
Oh, I'm sorry, Eddie. This is CJ. I'm my associate.
Howdy, CJ, honey.
Yeah, CJ, this is the legendary Cattle Annie Hickok.
Well, I've heard of you, Annie. Houston's spoken about you a lot. He's the president of your unofficial fan club.
CJ, why don't you go ahead and give Annie the donation?
Oh, thank you, honey. See this now. Matlock, I never saw so many zeros.
Something to eat, Dr. Belcamp?
No. You? What are you doing?
I swear it. I'll call an ambulance.
No need for that. No identification.
Oh, my God. His name is Tom Chapman. He's an orderly. He was an orderly. He worked at the hospital until Dr. Belcamp fired him for being incompetent.
Now, just offhand, I'd say Mr. Chapman overreacted a little bit to being fired.
Well, after the firing, he physically attacked Dr. Belkamp, even threatened to kill him. I didn't believe that he'd follow through with it.
Why don't we go back inside?
We're Tom.
Listen, take it easy, all right? It wasn't your fault. Listen, here's my business card. Now, if you need a witness, I'm in, all right? Just take it easy. Please. CJ?
Good morning, Houston.
I accept the orange juice with thanks, CJ, but I flat out reject the statement that this is a good morning.
Well, you undoubtedly have been to the hospital with Catalani. How is Dr. Belkamp?
He's losing ground fast. CJ, I stayed up all night trying to figure out why this Chapman fella decided to shoot Belkamp at a party in my office with a whole bunch of people standing around and recognize him.
Well, maybe this will help answer your questions. It's Chapman's wallet.
Where'd you come up with this?
The janitor found it. Apparently, Chapman dropped it when he ran out, and somebody kicked it under a chair.
One honest janitor. Now, where do you suppose an unemployed fellow'd come up with this kind of money?
Well, now, that's what I mean. It might also answer your first question, why he did it. Now, according to the license, he lives in the marina. 1400 Dolphin Way, boat slip 61.
You better get a hold of Vance, tell him what we got and where I'm headed.
That's me. Oh, if it's about the boat, forget it. Would you hand me that for sale sign there, please? Thanks. Who needs Hawaii, anyway?
Hawaii? Were you planning to move to Hawaii?
Tom, he's was my husband. He felt that we'd worked long enough, and it was time we retired.
Mrs. Chapman, have you got any idea why your husband would want to shoot Dr. Belkamp?
Because Belkamp fired him, I suppose. Say, who are you? I have already talked to the regular cops.
I'm sorry, I was just an interested party. Would you mind if I...
Yeah.
You see, the shooting took place in my office. Well, we found a whole slew of $100 bills on your husband. Now, have you got any idea where they came from?
Part of our retirement money, I guess.
Part?
Well, Tom, he said that his ship had finally come in $100,000 worth.
What ship? I mean, what do you mean by that?
I'm not rightly sure.
Is there any possibility that he was paid that money for killing Dr. Belkamp?
Well, anything's possible, isn't it? I mean, Tom's killed before, in the war. I mean, he even won a decoration.
Listen, think, Mrs. Chapman, now. Have you got any idea where the money came from or who it came from?
In a matter of speaking, Tom said that someone on the research team where he worked had offered him an interesting proposition, and he was thinking about it.
Did he say who on the research team?
Tom never said. Mister, would you do a favor for a brand new widow?
Certainly.
Would you get the hell off of here, please? I was brought up to believe that crying in front of people is not nice.
Said to get here as fast as we could. Apparently, Dr. Belkamp took a turn for the worse.
Annie, look, I'm sorry. I know Dr. Belcamp being your friend and all, he must have been a real special person.
Yeah. In more ways than one. The man saved my life.
Literally?
2 years ago, I was deader than a doornail.
What do you mean, Annie?
Well, I was pronounced dead. My heart quit pumping. Actually stopped.
Dr. Belcamp brought you back.
Yeah. With the help of a wonderful new serum he developed with his partner.
Well, that's not totally accurate, Annie. You see, our entire team developed Serum 100A. What it is, it minimizes the risk factor in a heart transplant.
Annie, you mean to tell me you had a...
Ain't that a hoot? Some folks down home claim Catalani ain't never had a heart. Now I've had two.
That's why you hog-tied me into this fundraising thing, too, isn't it? You wanted to see Dr. Belcamp's organization grow and prosper.
Mm-hmm. Now it's all over for Walter. Thanks to that varmint that shot him.
Annie, there's a possibility that somebody hired Chapman to kill Belcamp.
Who says so?
I do.
Well, in that case, Catalani is calling back her marker. Houston, I want you to find out who did the hiring.
Wouldn't have it any other way, Annie.
Excuse us.
CJ, now, Chapman's widow, in a manner of speaking, says that somebody from Belcamp Denny hired Chapman to kill Belcamp.
Well, that's my cue to go back to the office and check up on all those team members.
That's right. And since the killer was supposed to be paid $100,000...
I'll run a financial check on all of them.
Right. You got it. Yeah, and if you need me, I'll be in surgery. Denny?
Ah, Houston. Please join me.
Guess you heard about Dr. Belcamp, huh?
Yeah, tragic.
Yeah. Now, what's going on down there? Looks like a television show.
They're preparing a patient for a heart transplant.
Oh. Well, I'd just soon read about it.
Well, you can relax. They can't begin without the surgeon, and I'm him. It's a fascinating operation to watch.
Yeah, I'll bet. I'll just pass on this one.
You know, during my first heart transplant, after I removed the patient's heart, I stared into his chest. I was in awe.
Yeah, that's something else. You know, I bet that it almost make a person feel a little bit like God, you know? Tell me something. Was your partner hard to get along with? I mean, the ornery type.
Well, not until recently. No, I don't know. Something was bothering him. We weren't seeing eye to eye.
Yeah. Well, it brings me to my next question. Now, what do you suppose is going to happen at the research center now that Belcamp's gone?
I'll simply carry on. Walter would have wanted it that way.
I'll bet you Walter also would have wanted to know the identity of the man who hired Chapman to kill him.
Hired? What are you talking about, hired?
Talking about the $100,000 that was being paid Chapman by you or another member of this research team for messing up my fundraising party by killing Dr. Belcamp.
Where in the hell did you ever get such an off-the-wall theory like that?
Chapman's widow.
That's ridiculous. There's only 3 of us left on the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does tend to narrow it down a little bit, doesn't it?
Let me give you some advice, cowboy. You just drop your investigation. It's only going to hurt the research center, and the work we're doing here is one hell of a lot more important than you're getting off playing Texas Ranger.
Emergency, sir. Can you give us a hand here?
You bet. Who's in trouble here?
You!
How's he doing? He's still out. That cowboy is not gonna going to be too happy when he wakes up, especially when we tell him about the funeral. Here's.
Fill her up and check under the hood, would you?
Showtime, Houston. Baby's got a rundown on all our suspects. By the way, I'm going to start with the dead man's partner, Dr. Owen Denny. He's a brilliant heart surgeon. He is very flamboyant, and he loves the ladies.
Well, I understand he loves publicity, too. I mean, I see him all the time on the TV talk shows and in the newspapers. Tell me something, CJ. How's his partner feel about all the hoopla?
Well, his partner feels the way anybody would who does all the work and doesn't get any of the credit. There was a lot of tension between Belcamp and Denny.
Well, maybe Dr. Denny decided to end the partnership the hard way, huh?
That's possible.
Who's next?
Well, next we have Dr. Kimberly Price. She's very young, very talented, and very ambitious. Dr. Belcamp found her when she was a young intern, and he liked her work, so he took her under his wing personally.
Does that mean what I think it means?
You bet. Very hot and heavy affair till about 2 months ago when she replaced him for a newer and younger Romeo. Want to make any bets on who it is?
Oh, Dr. Owen Denny?
Give a cigar to the cowboy. Very good.
Yeah, that also means that she's next in line to take Dr. Belcamp's place on the foundation.
That's right. Now, this is Barney Jenks. He's the team research assistant, and he was very instrumental in the development of Serum 100A, and they're now working very hard on developing Serum 100B.
Well, CJ, what is all this serum stuff?
Well, I don't know, but it has something to do with human organ transplants.
Yuck.
Yeah.
Well, have you got anything else on Barney Jenks?
Well, just that he and Belcamp go back a long way. It was a very tight relationship.
Yeah, well, relationships have a way of disintegrating, CJ.
This is true, Houston.
Yeah. But it's Catalani. Come on, she's not one of our suspects.
Maybe, maybe not, but I'd still love to know what that sweet Texas favor is that you owe her.
If you dare to tell her, Matlock, I'm gonna jerk a nut in your tail.
Hello, how are you, sweet Faye?
Oh, now, come on, Catalani. Tell me what's that secret something going on between you and Houston. Come on, fess up.
What do you think, Annie? Should we tell her?
It really ain't no big deal.
Well, in that case, I think CJ's a safe bet. You see, CJ, Annie saved my life before I was born.
Before you were born?
Yeah, my mother was 8 months pregnant. He got in a car wreck way out in the boondocks, and Annie came along and delivered me right on the spot. Saved me and my mother.
Like I said, it was no big deal.
Thank you, Annie. That's for me and a whole lot of other people who love this big robe-wearing galoot.
Oh, he's a prize package.
Morning, Doctor. I believe we have an appointment.
Well, the lady who phoned didn't mention a football game.
Well, that was just a little diversion. See, I wanted to catch you before you got inside, because I know when you're in there, there's all kinds of distractions.
I see. Okay, how would you like to proceed?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll pitch and you field questions.
That's baseball.
No, ma'am, it's murder. Yeah, let me ask you a question. Now, which member of the Bell Camp Denny research team hired Tom Chapman to kill Bell Camp?
Hired Tom Chapman? Who in the world told you a thing like that?
Well, it's just like the newspapers say, a very reliable source.
Just what is it you want from me?
Well, Doctor, I'll tell you. See, I already know about your off-duty consultations with Dr. Bellcamp and Denny.
Let's stop playing games, Mr. Houston. I know who stands to gain the most from Walter's death. I do.
Yeah, I know that, too. But listen, okay, come on. Oh, I'm sorry. Now, hold on. Let me ask you one more question, okay, please? Yeah, just tell me a little bit about your formula, the 100A, I believe it's called. Yeah.
Serum 100A helps in the prevention of body rejection of heart transplants. Once we received FDA approval, we sold the patent outright to Dumont Pharmaceuticals.
Oh, what about your newer serum, 100B? Is there anything special about it?
Yes. Serum 100B helps in the prevention of body rejection of all organ transplants and not just the heart.
Huh. Well, that's pretty revolutionary stuff. I mean, have you folks gotten a patent on it yet?
No, we haven't received FDA approval.
Oh, but assuming that you do get FDA approval.
Yes, Mr. Houston, the answer is yes. It will be worth millions and millions to the foundation.
You won't tell me something else. What do you suppose your share is going to be now that you're co-chairman of this foundation?
The game is over, and you just struck out.
CJ, slow down a little bit, would you? I mean, after the ambulance ride and the gurney ride and the blackjacks, I mean, my body feels like a freight train ran over and then backed up twice.
Maybe you should see a doctor.
Yeah, no, CJ, just tell me about the financial information I asked you to dig up.
Well, our research doctors, Owen Denny and Kimberly Price, aren't exactly in the food stamp category.
You're meaning what?
Meaning that either one of them could afford to hire a killer for $100,000.
Yeah, well, how about the fellow we're about to visit here? I mean, how much does a research assistant make?
Well, Rich, Barney Jenkins, isn't. His annual salary is $35,000. His bank account is flat as a tortilla.
When you get back to the office, I want you to find out
if any of our medical friends have made large bank withdrawals recently.
Yeah.
Dr. Brent Bell reports to Dr. Marr in administration.
Said he'd be here all day.
Yes, he did.
Oh, hi.
Hey, let me give you a hand.
No,
I come on, I got it now. Here.
Well, all right.
It's heavy.
We're just cleaning out Dr. Bellcamp's office. There. Do you mind if I feed the animals while we talk?
Well, no, go right ahead.
Mr. Houston, this is Tubby and Stubby. And over here we have little Hank.
Yeah, well, listen, Mr. Jenks, I tell you, we're having a heck of a time on this case, and I just wanted to ask you, have you got any idea why somebody would want to pay Tom Chapman to kill Dr. Bellcamp?
Pay Tom? Nobody'd have to pay Tom. I mean, if you want my opinion, I think it was a vendetta. He killed Walter for revenge.
Well, maybe, yeah, but I tell you, it's just beginning to look an awful lot like somebody hired him.
Well, it could be that way, I suppose, but Tom was mad enough to kill 20 men. It was a lucky thing that I was with Walter to protect him the day that Tom attacked him.
Now, was this when Dr. Bellcamp fired Tom?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, now...
No, just a minute. If somebody did hire Tom, I don't think you'll ever find out who it was.
Well, why's that?
Just a hunch.
Well, good. I mean, have you got any clues or anything you can give us that might help us out?
Well, just hunches.
Well, fine. Why don't you feed us some of your hunches?
I'd rather not.
Why?
Well, excuse me. It will maybe look like I'm pointing the finger at somebody.
Well, pointing the finger at who?
Dr. Denny.
Why Dr. Denny?
He tried to break up my friendship with Walter. Dr. Belkamp.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because you and Dr. Belkamp have been friends for a long time, haven't you?
Yes. I was here long before Dr. Denny. It was jealousy. He was jealous of my friendship with Walter. It was a kind of class distinction.
Oh, well, what do you mean, class distinction?
Well, you know, I'm a lab technician hobnobbing with an MD.
Well, that's no motive for murder, is it?
No, ma'am, I didn't say it was.
Mr. Jenks, why don't you tell me something? Now, what do you think could be a motive for murder?
I don't know, Mr. Houston. You're the detective. But I'll tell you one thing. Dr. Denny is now #1 man. Excuse me?
Certainly.
Excuse me.
CJ, do me a favor, would you? I'd like to get a list of everybody who graduated from Dr. Belkamp's medical school class, would you?
Okay. What for?
Well, it's like Barney said, just a hunch.
Oh, cute little thing, isn't he?
Yeah. CJ, that's the man that killed Chapman. Call him a belly.
Thanks.
Oh, look, I'll buy it from you. Here, take all of it. Yeah, thank you. Gracias.
Excuse, please. No? Maybe you'd like to buy film for camera, too?
Yeah, the jaw. Yeah, it's much square. Yeah, somewhere between Duke Wayne and Clint Eastwood. Yeah, they both had this look in their eye. You know, it was similar to the same look that Gary Cooper had when he said goodbye to Grace Kelly in High Noon.
Oh, come on, Houston, would you quit kidding around?
Oh, Vance, I'm not kidding around. That's it. That's them, Vance. It's the two goons. You recognize them?
No, but I'll distribute these and I'll put it on APB. Come on.
Yo, Vance, make it 2 APBs, would you? I mean, these cretins are out to kill me, and I don't know why.
You don't know why? I'll tell you why. You want to know why?
Yeah, I want to know why.
Because you keep moseying around, you keep asking questions, you keep upsetting murderers who don't want to be upset. Capiche?
Vance, I got a mosey. See, I promised Catalani.
Okay, well, let my office know we can get in touch with this Catalani so we don't need more than 5 pallbearers. Hi, CJ.
Hi, Vince. You wanted me to look into the banking habits of our suspects? Well, I just discovered that Owen Denny made 3 cash withdrawals in 2 months. Total amount, $100,000.
The exact amount that Chapman was paid to kill Belkamp.
Right.
I think it's about time I paid another little visit to our good doctor, Owen Denny.
It's safe to enter, Mr. Houston. I'm all through cutting for the day.
Is that another one of your heart transplants?
Sure. 20 years young with congenital heart disease. Before surgery, I had 2 months to live. Now, could outlive us both.
Oh, that's something. You know, I really admire your ability and what you do. I think it'd be a crying shame if you couldn't continue.
Well, why wouldn't I continue?
Well, you see, inmates aren't allowed to operate in prison.
Prison inmates, what the hell are you talking about?
I'm talking about murder. You see, Chapman was to be paid $100,000 for killing Belkamp, and you know what? That's the exact amount you've taken out of your bank account over the past few months.
Come off it, Houston. I'm a wealthy man. I make a lot of investments.
But those investments aren't usually made in cash, are they?
Well, the kind you don't want to pay taxes on are. Besides, what I do with my money is none of your business.
Finding out who killed your partner is.
You better make that was. Houston, either you get off my back, or my lawyer is going to be talking to a certain judge about you. A judge who just happens to have a daughter in desperate need of a heart transplant.
Mr. Matt Houston, please pick up a white paging telephone.
Houston.
One moment, please.
Hello, Houston. I've located that graduating list of Walter Bell camps. Now, what am I looking for?
Barney Jenks.
The lab assistant? He isn't even a doctor, is he?
Well, I'm not sure, CJ, but I tell you, when I was looking at the graduating class picture in Bellcamp's office, there was Barney standing right next to Bellcamp, big as life.
Well, he's not on the list.
I'll tell you, CJ, maybe it's about time that I did a little operating on my own. Have you got Barney's address there? I got it. I'm gone.
Barney Jenks lives in an apartment building near the beach. Finding the apartment is no problem for Houston, but finding a way into Barney's apartment is.
Excuse me. How you doing today? Listen, I tell you what. You look like you'd like to take a very long, expensive lunch break. Say, maybe at the Brown Derby, huh? Maybe cocktails at Perino's, maybe a supper at Chasen. Yeah. How'd that be, huh?
You know, you sure don't look like an exterminator.
Well, right, ma'am. That's why I'm so good at my job. See, the bugs don't recognize me either. They don't think I look like the enemy at all, yeah. You see, that's why I don't even have to sneak up on them anymore.
Oh.
I got him.
Oh. This is Dr. Jenks' apartment right here.
Doctor?
Since the manager didn't tell me you were coming, I'm gonna have to stay here while you do your work.
Oh, ma'am, I can't tell you what a pleasure that'd be. See, it gets real lonely talking to bugs. You know, Mr. Jenks never told me he was a doctor.
Oh, well, look at that wall. And he's got more diplomas than Trapper John.
Yes, he does. Well, I guess that's how he knew.
Knew what?
Well, that his apartment had rats with rabies.
Rats. With rabies?
Mm-hmm. Listen, I tell you what, if any of those little boogers get past me with white foamy mouths and little sharp teeth, you just run them into the corner there and give me a shout, would you?
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go back to my apartment. Why don't you just call me when you're finished, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Glad you stopped by, Annie.
It's a pleasure, Matlock. I wanted to talk to you anyway. Seems like you've been ruffling more than your share of feathers.
Well, it sounds like you've been talking to Dr. Denny.
Yeah, and he is hotter than a spring jalapeno. He wants me to take you off the case.
Well, it's a little late for that, Annie. See, I think I discovered the reason why Dr. Bellcamp was killed.
What's this?
It's all hell about to break loose, Annie. That's a letter from the FDA addressed to Dr. Bellcamp. Now, it states very clearly that your new serum 100B is no good. It's totally useless.
Where'd you get that letter?
Barney Jenks' apartment, along with a whole bunch of other good stuff.
Matlock, that serum 100B has got to work. Why, the research team tested that out in every possible which way. Walter told me it was blue perfect, and I believe him.
Fine, Annie, but what I need to know is why Barney's got a letter addressed to Dr. Belcamp.
Well, that's easy. All the foundation mail went to him so he could weed it out.
So there's a possibility that Belcamp never saw that letter at all.
I would bet on it. If he had read it, he would have told me so.
Well, Annie, I got myself an idea.
Well, then don't just sit there. Start making tracks. Stir your stumps.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Denny, please. And hurry. Owen, this is Annie. We've got big trouble.
Dr. Grenfell reports to Dr. Marr in administration. Dr. Grenfell is reporting to Dr. Marr in administration.
Barney, you happen to know where I might be able to find Dr. Price and Dr. Denny?
Well, I have a hunch you're in Denny's office, last door on the right.
Thank you, Barney.
Pleasure. Good, Oscar. Very good.
This is Mr. Abrams, the heart transplant patient.
Oh, yes, the patient. The operating team's waiting for him.
Dr. Adams' surgery. Nurse Webster reports Dr. Adams' surgery.
Now, don't panic. Just stay calm, Houston. It's all a little mix-up. All you have to do is tell them. Just say, hey, fellas, I'm just fine. My name's Matt Houston, and you're about to make a real bad mistake here.
All right, Michael. Let's put him all the way under.
Sure, it looks bad. Don't panic. You just gotta talk to him. It's a simple use of the throat, lips, and tongue. Yeah. Oh, boy.
We're ready, Dr. Denny.
How we doing?
All systems go, Doctor. He's all yours.
Anybody hear how the stock market's doing today?
No! Benny!
more, Matlock. How do you feel now?
Oh, Annie, I feel like I've been rode hard and put up wet. Looks like I owe you another one.
I'm sorry, Houston. I didn't know it was you. I never even looked at your face.
You see, I phoned Owen, and then I came over to show him the letter from the FDA.
Well, I never saw that letter until Annie showed it to me. Those FDA findings are totally wrong. Our serum does work.
Hey, well, listen, you must have copies of the test results around here somewhere. Where do you keep them?
In Barney's lab.
Oh, would you mind if I took a look at them?
Sure.
Oh.
Now, if you're too rocky, you latch on to me.
No, fine. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, well, thanks, CJ. Listen, you better call Vance. Tell him to hightail it over here, too.
Well, this isn't the correct data. I don't understand.
Yeah, well, I do. Somebody switched him.
Who?
Dr. Barney Jinks.
Doctor? Barney's no doctor.
Well, what he is and what he thinks he is are two different things.
Would you care to translate that into Texan?
I'm sorry, Annie. It's just, well, Barney's apartment is a medical shrine. I mean, it's wall-to-wall medical diplomas, and all of them are fake and all of them are forged.
Why?
Well, it seems like Barney was almost a doctor. He went to school with Dr. Belkamp. Well, the problem was, Belkamp graduated and Barney didn't. He was kicked out and sent to prison 3 weeks after the class photograph was taken, 1 week before graduation.
What for?
And why did Walter hire the man for such sensitive work?
Because Walter felt sorry for me. Walter was my best friend. We went to school together, from two different worlds. His folks rich, my folks poor. I had to steal drugs from the college pharmacy to pay for my tuition. And I got caught.
So Walter hired you after you got out of prison?
He hired me as a lab assistant. And I did more to perfect those serums than any of you doctors. Yet you took all the credit for it, and you took all the money for them.
Barney, the money from 100A serum went back into the foundation.
Maybe, Annie. But the credit for the development of those serums didn't.
That's when you decided to cash in for yourself, huh? On the new serum, 100B? You secretly sold it to a pharmaceutical company. You sent the FDA some doctored-up lab test using Dr. Belkamp, Price, and Denny's name on it.
How'd you know that, Houston?
Well, it's really quite simple. See, old Barney there's got a nasty habit of leaving sensitive paperwork around his apartment. $500,000, Barney. You sold out cheap. Well, of course, you did have to pay Chapman off, and you still got to pay your two clowns.
Barney, why did you have Walter killed? He was your best friend.
He was my best friend, Annie. He was gonna turn me in.
Okay, folks. Nobody panics. We got a van out back, and we're all going bye-bye.
No problem, fellas. I know how rough you can be.
Don't worry, Matlock. These fellas are hobbled. You go get Barney.
Here's something else, Annie. Get out of here. Come on. Come on.
Houston, what in the name
Just missed him, Vance. The doctor's out.
You know that I brought Mama an onion from Vidalia.
Look happy, Houston.
Well, happy? I mean, this is my overjoyed look, Vince.
Vince, Houston and Annie just got back from their last fundraiser.
Meaning that Houston doesn't have to make any more speeches.
That's right. I tell you, it's going to be the last time I have to sit through a main course of mystery meat and mashed mush. Speaking of grub, where's Mama?
She'll be right out. She's got a surprise for y'all.
How be you all?
I told you.
Mama, you look great. Have you been taking her shopping or what?
Isn't she beautiful? Honey, you make the yellow rose of Texas blush to pink.
Hey, you ain't seen nothing yet, partner. Okay, you saddle tramps, move it out, pronto. A special pizza for Catalani. Oh, wow, it's Texas! The pepperoni is Dallas, the olives is Lubbock, the green peppers is Galveston, and the mushroom is San Antonio. He was Catholic, you know.
But Mama, where is Houston?
The meatball.
The meatball?
Sure. The meatballs. They're always the best. Houston.
Better cock your pistols.
Good evening, Miss Lenny. What can I tell you? I just had this craving for some teppanyaki.
I hear you're serving the champ's table.
Yeah, that's me.
You don't seem too happy about it.
Serving the champ I'm very happy about. He's a great tipper. Now, it's working for the guy who owns this place that has me teed up. You know, for 5 years I've been here, and still he treats me like an apprentice.
You okay?
I'm dizzy. I've got to get some air.
Rock, we've got to talk.
Marcia, please.
Darling, let's relax, huh? Could you call the exchange and see if there are messages from the hospital?
I'll be right back.
Enjoy. Mr. Lennox, enjoy.
Hey, Mr. Lennox.
All the best to you.
No. The doc and his lady gonna sit here. They'll be fine over there.
Sure, champ.
Well, look at him. The chump. For now, that is. Not after Saturday, though. Bubba Dex. Gonna be the next champ. You got my personal word on that.
Well, wait a minute, Bubba. Why don't I go out to the car and get the accordion? I mean, if we're gonna do the act, we might as well have some music, right?
It's not worth it, champ. You know
No,
that.
honey, please don't.
Please.
Don't.
Oh, please. Not here. This way, please.
Take it easy, champ. Come on.
You set that up, didn't you? Photographer and all.
Yeah. I wanted you to have a little look at the creative promotion that you're gonna lose, champ. Now, those pictures they just took are not just for the sport pages. They're for the front page. They're gonna be in every newspaper in the country. I'm the best promotion manager you'll ever have, champ.
Yeah, well, after Saturday, the only way I'm ever gonna see you again will be as a sparring partner.
Come on, darling, please, no more upset. We came here to enjoy ourselves, huh?
I've got them in the other room. By the time they get their check, you'll be on your way.
No sweat, Sam. Just a sideshow.
We've got to talk.
Houston! Janie Lennox is here.
She's early, CJ. I'll be there in a minute.
Okay.
She was murdered by mistake, Mr. Houston. That man was trying to kill my husband.
Well, no, that's a pretty big jump, isn't it, Mrs. Lennox?
It's the third time something's happened in the last 2 weeks.
There have been other attempts on his life?
Someone tampered with the brakes of his car a week ago Tuesday. All the fluid was drained out. He told me that it could have been a loose piece of pavement ricocheting up from underneath the tire. Maybe I wouldn't have thought any differently, but last Sunday, I'm sorry.
No, listen, it's all right now. See, can I get you a drink or something?
No, I don't drink, Mr. Houston. Well, I mean, that's not exactly true. The Rock, he doesn't like it when I drink. He's kind of a stick in the mud that way.
Hey, listen, you were talking about last Sunday. You want to go on with that?
The Rock likes to shoot on a target range. He says that it relaxes him. Somebody out there took a shot at him. If he hadn't turned to talk to me just then, it would have killed him.
Mrs. Lennox, do you think this has anything to do with the coming fight?
I don't know. All I know, Mr. Houston, is my husband won't let me go to the police. And I'm just so scared. Can you help me, please?
I'm sure gonna try. All right?
Client was right. Marcia Bingham was killed by mistake. But The Rock wasn't the victim. The proprietor here, Sam Shima, was.
Well, this is beginning to look like one of those TV game shows. I mean, will the real intended victim please stand up?
Shima was the real intended victim. The chef who threw the knife, and he had a real nasty argument.
Nasty enough to slice up his boss instead of the bean sprouts?
From what I hear tell, this guy has a real hot head. But the arresting officer said that he was a piece of cake.
You mean you already picked him up?
I thought you knew. We found him in the middle of the street last night, stumbling around.
You mean like he was drunk?
He was putting on the dazed look, you know, acting incoherent, babbling, probably setting up himself for a insanity defense. Take it easy.
Yeah, later, Vance.
Houston, you've got that something's very wrong here look on your face.
Well, CJ, it just is not right to me. I mean, anyone with the talent to throw a knife the way they did in here last night is probably not going to hire himself out for brake line work, meaning the champ's brake line.
Or take a shot at him at a shooting range.
That's right, CJ. I mean, I've seen the chefs work in here before. Now, they have to be very skilled, very precise, and have to have an awful lot of concentration going for them. Now, if this fella was as disoriented as Novelli says he was when he picked him up, he'd have cut his fingers off before he could ever draw a bead on the boss.
But Houston, he was the chef at the table, wasn't he?
Was he, CJ? I mean, think about it. Now, we know Rock and his party had to be very preoccupied with watching the chefs do their show. We know the owner was because the place was packed.
In other words, what you're saying is that everybody saw a chef at a table, but nobody was really paying any attention. So the hothead that the police officers arrested could have been just about anybody.
It's food for thought, CJ.
That's a terrible pun, Houston.
Yes, it is.
Here at this weight, I see there are puzzles here. The Rock is a 6-1 favorite, and yet he seems, yes, I have to say, yet he seems intimidated by challenger Bubba Dax and his histrionics. The Rock's no youngster. He's been the champ a long time. There are those who
shake hands for the photographers, gentlemen. Shake hands.
Shake hands with a chump. Man, I don't shake hands with people I don't respect. I make them bleed.
Fine, I'll see you in the ring.
Hey, punk, don't turn your back on me. Over to her.
Come on, take it easy, break it up. Look at one split lip or cut eye and you throw the match away.
Come on, we can go at it right now, man. Huh? We ain't gotta wait till fight time. Right here.
Of course, it was going to...
Right here, right now. I'll knock him out, man. I'm gonna surprise the world. I'm gonna knock you out.
I don't want to hear what a terrific promoter you are again, man.
Well, you want to think about it, because if it wasn't for me, nobody would even know your name. I put this package together. I made the deal for the pay TV and the cable. I promoted the T-shirts and the breakfast food endorsements and all those other little goodies. I did all of that.
Yeah, well, what else did you do, huh? The accountants are looking the books over right now, and the ripples I'm hearing ain't none too good. You go steal for somebody else.
Take these.
Look, I can explain all that, champ. You're not going to ruin me, Rock. Listen, I worked 10 years getting you the breaks, but I can turn it around real quick.
Excuse me.
Hey, we're having a conversation here.
Seems like it was getting a little one-sided there at the end.
Oh, really? Well, just who are you? What do you want?
Well, I'm sorry. My name's Matt Houston, and, well, I'm looking into the possibility that knife that was thrown last night was intended for the Rock.
The police say the chef was responsible, an argument with the guy who owns the place.
Well, I think the police are going to find out that they're wrong, and they're going to expand their investigation a little bit. And, you know, I'll bet they'll even want to talk to you.
Anytime. I'll be around.
You're Dr. Kolzak, aren't you? Yeah, the sports doctor. Listen, I saw you on a television talk show. You're great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Listen, you were with The Rock last night. Have you got any ideas about what happened out there?
I haven't been able to think about it. The murdered woman, Marcia, she was more than my nurse. She was very important in my life, Mr. Houston.
Yeah. My sympathies go out to you, sir.
She was loved by everyone. Now she gets in the way of a knife. Tragic accident.
All because somebody's trying to kill The Rock.
Where did you get that notion?
Well, Janie Lennox, the Rock's wife. I mean, she told me about all the attempts on his life.
I'm afraid Janie isn't a very reliable source. She's a sick woman.
What do you mean, sick?
An alcoholic.
Are you trying to tell me that you don't think those attempts really happened?
Oh, there was one. It's just not that Janie Lennox is an alcoholic. Mr. Houston, she's a violent drunk.
Well, how violent?
Enough to attack her husband with a butcher knife.
Lennox? Janie? Matt Houston? Anybody home? Janie? 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 Seems like the lady fell off the wagon after a screaming match with the Rock. After I took the knife out of her hand, all she could say was, "I'm sorry, Rock. I'm sorry, Rock."
Not I'm sorry, Mr. Houston, or...
Kind of weird, huh?
What's weird is that she doesn't try and get some help.
It's because she won't admit she's got the disease. What'd Baby come up with?
Well, Kip Williams. Now, he had to pull quite a few strings to cover up the attack on Rock, and he has a police record from the time when he hired a hood to beat up on one of his first clients.
Yeah, it's because the client was threatening him with one of those independent audits. I mean, the Rock's doing the same thing right now.
Well, some people will do anything to keep from being audited.
You're telling me? How do you think I lost my hair? Sign here, initial here and here.
Murray, what's this?
Latest line in the Lennox-Dax fight. A slight overnight shift. The champ was 6-1, now he's down to 4-1.
Listen, Murray, you're the sports expert here.
Well, statistics are my life, so naturally I know everything there is to know about sports.
Yeah. Well, tell me something. If something happened to the champ, who'd be next in line to fight Bubba Dax?
Second-ranked contender, Danny Gonzalez. Bubba do a lot better with him than The Rock. A whole lot better. Come this fight, The Rock is going to blow him out of the ring.
Oh, right, Murray. There you go. Don't forget your pen. Yeah, listen, CJ, now suppose I am Bubba Dax, and I know the champ is going to blow me out of the ring, unless I can figure out a way to eliminate him before I ever step into that ring. Now, I know the next logical fight is Gonzalez, and I know I can whoop him. CJ, there are millions of dollars at stake in a championship fight. Now, I could be set up for life.
Well, it's a good motive.
Yeah.
Now, Dax has a history of assault that go back to his days in diapers, and he learned to box in prison.
Well, if it's not the good sports doctor, Dr. Warren Kozak.
More of a celebrity than most of his clients. Runs with a very fast group, jet set, movie stars, married more times than Zsa, that sort of thing.
Mr. Lennox, I'm sorry. You can't. You don't have an appointment, Mr. Lennox. This is not.
Champ.
What the hell have you done to my wife?
I wasn't aware I'd done anything.
She's off the wagon, man. I had her sober, her head was together, and all of a sudden you're on some kind of case the cops have already solved, and my wife got a quart of booze in her.
Look, Janie came to me because she was very worried about you.
And instead of telling her there was nothing for her to be worried about, you got to make a big deal out of a bunch of accidents could have happened to anybody.
Yeah, but it didn't just happen to anybody.
Hey, my wife is not a strong woman, Houston. Or didn't you notice? She cracks easy. She breaks easy. She scares easy.
Why would Matt Houston want to scare your wife?
How the hell do I know? They tell me you rich, so I guess it ain't some kind of money scam. Maybe you're one of those guys who like doing head trips on people. That don't make no difference. You're fired.
Now, listen, I tell you, only my clients can fire me, and you're not my client.
Stay away from my wife, man. A word to the wise.
Houston, you must pack quite a wallop.
Houston, you just staggered the champ. I don't believe it.
Well,
Staggered? You staggered the champ? Maybe he wavered, deciding whether to have you for breakfast or lunch.
It seemed like he lost his balance for a second.
So he tripped.
Are you sure I couldn't have hurt him? I mean, that was a pretty good punch I gave him.
Mr. Houston, what do you do when you get up in the morning?
Well, I generally read the newspaper, then I swim some laps in my pool.
Uh-huh. Well, the champ, he runs 10 or 12 miles, and he hits the heavy bag and the speed bag on and off all day long. And then for variety, he gets in the ring with other guys that have the same daily routine. And he lets them try and hurt him. Your conscience can be clear, Mr. Houston.
Yeah, I tried to tell my associates that. I mean, there's no way a normal guy can hurt a professional boxer.
That's right.
Yeah, unless maybe that professional boxer has got some kind of medical condition.
Well, if there's one physical condition I know inside and out, it's the champ's. Here, let me show you. You should all be in that kind of shape.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. This is all Greek to me, so I think I'm just going to have to take your word for it, but I did have to double check.
You mean it's something I should double check?
I would appreciate it.
I'll show you out. I started cleaning her desk up, putting her things together, but I just wasn't up to it.
Pretty girl.
It was very special. We had a church book for next month, the 23rd.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
Oh, you got it. It was nice. You got it. Take a break.
Bubba Dax, talk to you for a minute?
Man, you're breaking my concentration. No more autographs.
No, I'm not looking for an autograph, partner. I just want to talk to you for a
You
minute.
better say what you're doing here, or he's gonna pick you up and turn you around.
Oh, no, that's not necessarily. My name's Matt Houston. I'm a detective, and I'm working on Marcia Bingham's death.
Well, maybe we better talk.
I think so.
Joe Louis was a quiet champion. He died broke. Muhammad Ali, he shook him up. Now understand this. The loser of this fight will take home $3 million.
So what you're saying is basically this whole thing's a hype. I mean, the animosity between you and The Rock, huh?
Well, ain't no love between us. I won't lie to you about that. This is business. Man, this is my chance.
Well, I tell you, somebody I know said you'd have a much better shot at Gonzalez.
So you figure I'd have somebody throw a knife at The Rock to take care of that for me, huh?
Well, the thought had crossed my mind.
4-1. 4-1. I may be 4-1, but The Rock is gonna know what it feels like to hurt. Man, I'm in better shape than I've been in my whole life. I'm gonna surprise the world, man. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him. Kill him. I'm gonna kill him. But legally.
Legally is much better. It's the way to go, yeah. Excuse me, Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams, hold up there a minute. Kind of like to talk to you. Mr. Williams. What? Mr. Williams. Listen, I just want to talk to you from that there, all right? Now, hold up a minute.
Taking off in such a hurry?
Kip Williams.
Well, what's he doing out here with the opposition?
Very good question, CJ, and I intend to find out. Now, what brings you out here?
You have a phone call from a gentleman named Ukio Kanui.
I don't believe I've ever met a man by that name.
That's because you haven't seen the list of knife throwers that Baby has compiled.
What do you want?
He wants to talk to you about the murder of Marcia Bingham. Now, how fast can you get to Little Tokyo?
dead. Beginning to feel like Jack the Giant Killer. Every time I take a swing at somebody, they collapse.
Come on, Houston, you didn't kill this guy. The stuff from his locker confirms what the coroner said. It's a strong possibility he died from an insulin overdose. Man was a diabetic.
Vance, I talked to CJ. Now, if Baby's facts are straight on this fella, he's about as cold-blooded as they come. I mean, to set up that stunt at the steakhouse, posing as a chef at Lennox's table.
Houston, we have no proof the guy we took out of here is the killer.
Vance, he's got to be the killer. I mean, think about it. I mean, he's known for using knives. I mean, he sets up this whole trap for me out here. I mean, the fella you picked up certainly didn't do it.
What are you looking for?
A connection, Vance. I mean, here I am fighting with this fella. He stands up, staggers, and he falls. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Now, the chef that you picked up...
Mr. Akira.
Right. Now, he was reported to be in the same condition, staggering around. He was incoherent also.
Yeah, but Akira was not a diabetic on insulin.
But I bet you $1 he was on something, Vince, whether he knew it or not. Now, you're going to have to cut him loose, at least set him out on bail. And when you do, I've got to talk to him.
I felt sick. I was on my way to Mr. Lennox's table. All of a sudden, the room started spinning. Thank you. I thought I was going to suffocate, so I went out for some air.
Right. Now, before all that, can you remember anything different at all?
There wasn't much to remember. I got into an argument with my boss, Mr. Shima. I got angry, I lost my temper.
Yeah, and that happened in the kitchen, right?
Yes. Then I thought to go back to my table. Better to work it out, I thought, not to brood.
But you never got back to Rock's table.
No. Another chef must have taken my place.
Listen, I want you to think real hard. Now, did you eat or drink anything different before that happened, just before it happened? No, I mean, did you feel anything different, like a little scratch or a bite or a...
Yes. Yes, it's funny that you mention it, but I was passing by one of the chefs, and I felt this pain on my leg.
And that's when everything went dizzy, right? CJ, I knew it. Now, think real hard. Now, what did the man look like, the chef?
I can't. I only saw his back.
I'll tell you something. Novelli's probably got a mugshot of that man, and if he does, it might just jar the memory of all the folks at the table that night.
Janie, do you recognize this man? We think he's the one who threw the knife. He died last night.
I think it was him. I think he was the chef. Oh, I don't know. There was just so much commotion going on that night, you know, with all that stuff with Bubba Dax and all. Did I really come at you with a knife?
You really weren't yourself, Janie.
Wasn't I? Well, I mean, you know, I can really tie them on, you know. But when it's time to stop, it's really time to stop, and I'm gonna have to do something about that.
You'll never stop. You're an alcoholic.
No, now, don't say that. I'm not an alcoholic, crying out loud.
What are you then? A social drinker? Maybe you started out that way. Maybe other people are, but not you. You're an alcoholic.
No!
It's no secret to anybody, Janie. You're a drunk, and you'll never be anything else until you admit it. Houston, you got about a minute to get out of here or wind up in a hospital.
You know, it seems like you love the lady an awful lot. Except you want her to be strong enough to ask for help, and you can't do that.
I don't need help. All I need is you out of here.
So what are you gonna do? You gonna punch me in the nose? Show me that you're a tough guy, huh? Show me how strong you are? Well, do me a favor. Teach her how to be strong, would you?
Please.
All right. The lady drinks a bit. I know that's the phrase they seem to use. But have you ever stopped to wonder why? Man, she is frightened. She's been frightened for years. Every time you climb into the ring, she knows there's another guy waiting there who's gonna do his best to bash your brains in. If that's not enough, now you got somebody trying to kill you. And you're too damn mule-headed to ask for help. I tell you, you two are a real pair. Both of you drowning. Too proud to ask for help. I'll tell you something. Unless one of you asks for some help, I don't believe either one of you is going to survive this thing.
I'm an alcoholic. I'm an alcoholic.
Now, CJ, The Rock promised Janie that this was going to be his last fight, win, lose, or draw. And he also said he had an awful lot to talk to me about, but only after the fight.
Well, I'm happy for Janie and asked for his talking to you after the fight. It makes perfect sense.
Well, does it? I mean, think about it. Why is he putting me off? I mean, what's he got to hide?
Well, you asked me first.
Yeah, I know, CJ. Listen, I just got this problem. See, now, Dr. Kozak is The Rock's doctor. Now, Marcia Bingham, the dead woman, is that doctor's nurse. Now, I think we ought to look a little deeper into Marcia Bingham.
You're inferring she was the intended victim.
The thought had crossed my mind, yes.
That would change everything.
Yes, it would.
Now, Houston, hold on. This is not your normal line of country, so you be careful.
Yes, it will. Oh, hi.
Bye.
I didn't know a man's features could twist themselves into a question mark. What's on your mind, Murray?
Yesterday, the odds on The Rock were overwhelming, as they should have been. Bubba Dax is not in his league.
And they dropped a little bit more?
Now they dropped a bit more. And big money is coming in. The latest line at Fat Lenny's is 3-2 for Bubba Dax.
Murray, check that out, because that means somebody knows something we don't know. We better figure out what it is fast and tell Houston, because the fight's just in a few hours.
Sort of cover the damage. All day to talk to The Rock, no luck. Got to tell him what I found out before it's too late.
de Dios.
You can say that again.
Ladies and gentlemen, this preliminary fight has turned into a real slugfest.
Got it, baby. Get to him, bud. Come on. God, looking good. You're looking good tonight.
Somebody better help that boy, baby. I'm gonna kill him.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
CJ, you wanted me to check on where the bets against the Rock are coming from. Hold your hat.
They all come from one man.
One man. All different bookies, here to Vegas, but one man. How did you know?
Well, I figured it was the same man who was in the Army with a certain knife throw. It all traces back to Kip Williams.
That's right. The Rock's own promoter is betting against them.
You got it.
Houston.
Houston, what happened to you?
I just got myself out of a very messy situation.
What, you want to run that by us again?
Well, CJ, somebody up there likes me, somebody down here does not.
Huh?
Yeah, Murray, it's a long story. You had to be there. Now, has anything happened on the home front?
Well, we think we know who's behind the knife throwing. Kip Williams.
We've got him tied to the betting action against the Rock and to the knife thrower that killed Marcia Bingham by mistake. But Houston, what I don't understand is why would somebody bet against the Rock and then try to kill him?
Well, that's what's been throwing us all along, Murray. You see, they didn't really want to kill him. Marcia Bingham was the intended victim all the time.
But Houston, why?
Well, I'll explain all that later, but right now I've got to get my head under some cold water and get out of these clothes for your benefit and mine. Now, call Vance. Time to meet me at 5, all right?
One throws it right to left. Another right, still another left to Woodcock's midsection. He throws it right to the head. Woodcock is staggered and he goes down. The crowd is going crazy. The count begins. 2, 3.
1 minute, champ.
If anything happens to me, I want you to promise me as my friend you'll make sure Janie's taken care of.
Don't even talk like that. You're the champ. You're gonna get it done, hear me? Come on.
Gentlemen, I can't make a prediction on this fight. I'm afraid that's all for now. The champ will talk to you after the fight, okay? Good night, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Excuse me, Kip Williams. I'd like you to meet Police Lieutenant Novelli. This is Kip Williams. He's a bad guy.
What's all this about?
I believe it's called being arrested for murder.
Kip Williams, you have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney. You made me lose my place. Now let's start all over again. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney.
I think you got everything handled here, Vance. I'm going to go have a little chat with the champ.
Okay. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Houston. Hey, in case you haven't noticed, the Rock's due at a fight.
Well, maybe what I have to say will affect the fight.
Hey, there's no time now.
Even if I tell you I've solved the case?
All right, shoot.
The night Marcia Bingham was killed in that restaurant, she said she had something very important to talk to you about. And that's when she leaned over to you.
Yeah, well, I don't have the slightest idea what it was about, if that's what you're asking.
Is that right, champ? You see, I think you knew exactly what it was she wanted to talk to you about. Or at least you thought you did.
And now wait just a minute.
No, you wait a minute. Just wait. Now, you thought she wanted to talk to you about getting out of boxing like she'd done so many times before. But that wasn't it. You see, she's this man's nurse. She just wanted to tell you that she knew your secret.
What are you talking about? That's preposterous.
All right. You see, I got this problem. The doc here can tell you all about it, but what it boils down to is I get dizzy. And if I take the wrong punch, I buy the farm. I die. But man, I got bills to pay. What Kip Williams didn't steal from me just went. I knew you'd find out about it. That's why I didn't want you on this case.
So you thought you'd just take a nice, easy punch, huh? And just slide down for the count?
Leave me alone, Houston. I got a fight to lose.
Yeah, well, I'm sure glad you got good friends like the doctor here. I mean, to get you through the bad times. I mean, to give you the pills to get over those dizzy spells. And maybe those pills are what caused the dizzy spells. You ever think about that, huh? The night Marcia Bingham died, all she wanted to talk to you about was that she knew the real truth, that you were not sick at all. You're just fine. There's nothing wrong with you. See, the good doctor here and your promoter, they set you up. They made you think you were sick so you'd throw the fight. And I'll tell you something, partner. They bet everything they've got on the other side of the fence.
Houston, you don't know what you're talking about. Rock don't believe a word he's saying.
You ready to go down for the count?
No more talking, Motormouth. The ring's that way.
Yeah. You're gonna be laying in it.
Quickly, circle once, and the challenger attacks, throwing two rights and a left. The champ ducks a right and comes back with a left, followed by a right, which sends the challenger into the ropes. These two men mean business, and this reporter would be very surprised if this contest goes short in the first round. Ooh, the challenger throws a right, which misses, and then another right to the champ's midsection. They are now standing in the middle of the ring, toe-to-toe, trading punches. Neither man is getting the advantage, but they're both taking terrific punishment. The champ now parries a jab, ducks a right, and floors the challenger with a thundering left. The challenger is down. But what's this? I don't believe it. He's back on his feet. The two gladiators are back in the middle of the ring, trading body blows. The champ gets an opening, lands a right to the stomach, a left to the jaw, another left, and the challenger comes back with a shot to the stomach, and the champ answers with a wicked three-punch combination. The challenger is stunned. He tries to rally, but the champ lands a tremendous right to the head, staggering the challenger. And the champ throws another right, which sends the challenger to the mat. And it doesn't take an expert to know that he won't be getting up this time. The winner, and still champion of the world, Jerry the Rock Lennox.
Man, you got one hell of a ride.
I know the press thinks I'm just blowing smoke, but I mean it. I'm retired.
Well, you went out a champion. You can't really ask for any more than that, can you?
Well, I figure me and Jane can get it together. Maybe look for a couple kids on the way.
Sounds like a great idea.
Well, listen to you two. You got my life all planned.
If we'd kept them waiting any longer, they would have put us out to pasture.
Well, you know, as pretty as you two are, it was well worth the wait.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, take us out and show us off. Where are we going?
Well, I tell you, CJ, now, The Rock and I were talking this whole thing over, and, I mean, you both look beautiful. It's just that, see, we're a little frayed around the edges, so I thought...
Houston, you promised us dinner.
Dinner you want? Dinner you got? Lay it all out on the bar. Presto, presto.
Rock, you're gonna love this food. It's just what I told you. I mean, it's great. Go on, dig in.
Spaghettini e i ravioli, eh? Oh, yes. E cannelloni e la lasagna.
Oh, you know, ever since I put on my first pair of gloves, I've had to watch my weight. I mean, I used to dream about food like this. Nightmares, really, because I knew I could never touch it. But no more.
I think he really is retiring.
Yeah, now I know he is.
Yeah, Mama, I tell you, you better send the fellas back for seconds, because I think this is going to turn out to be a night of championship eating, don't you?
cock your pistols.
It appears you have met your match, my brother.
Have you ever thought of teaching your son the value of humoring his elders, my king? I have not won a single game this entire trip.
Can it be so, Ali?
If I let him win, Father, he will lose respect for me. Besides, losing to Uncle Fahad would be almost impossible. I mean, I've been so lucky on this trip. I don't think I could have lost to anyone.
Well, you see, he admits it's luck. Maybe it's time to change it. One more game, little Ali.
Hi, Buck. Abdul, how are you? How's everything going in the King business?
Having its ups and downs. How does it look?
Smooth. Clear as a bell all the way in. I left us on the ground in Los Angeles in a half hour.
The people are waiting for us, aren't they?
Come on, I wish you'd stop worrying, okay? We won't even have to go through the airport. I got a car meeting us right at the tarmac.
I should have known you'd take care of it. You always do.
This one's to Russ Miller, VP Marketing for Hotel and Casino Division.
Almost have you home. I must say, Jessica, you're very convincing as a top-notch business lady. Always working, dictating.
Well, I wish I'd been able to convince you to build a hotel in your country. However, I appreciate the ride. Halfway around the world's a long way to hitchhike.
First one who moves is dead. This is a kidnapping. Do as I say and you won't get hurt. You, boy, get into this parachute.
Please don't take the boy. Don't take the boy. Take me. I can be much more valuable to you for ransom.
Get into this parachute. I know you know how.
Get down! Get down!
No more talk, or I'll kill that woman next.
Don't allow anyone else. I'll come with you.
Ali!
I'll be all right, Father.
Sit down, or you'll never see your boy alive again.
Don't take the boy. Please, I'll give you anything you want. Wait!
You'll be contacted tomorrow afternoon at the consulate.
Houston, I need some... Yeah, fellas, let me get one more lap in, all right?
50 laps he swims every morning, rain or shine. Don't you think he'd be afraid of just wearing down to nothing?
Well, that's an idea. Maybe I'll just jump in there and swim and swim and swim, and then till there's nothing left of me.
Lamar, you can't swim.
I can learn. Oh, fellas, listen, what's the problem? Did the heifers get out again? Houston, I need getaway money. Getaway money?
Yeah, Lamar and I thought we might head down Bolivia way.
Oh, I see. And rob banks and trains like Butch Cassidy and Son. Fellas, what's going on?
It's Beulah. She's coming for me.
Beulah, your ex-wife?
She was 3-time All-Texas barroom brawling champ.
Yeah, I know. She was a big... Listen, I thought she remarried.
8 or 9 times that I know of. And I was only number 2.
Only in the telegram, she says that she thought it over and that she likes Lamar best, so she's coming back to get him, whether he likes it or not.
I was gonna tell Bob.
Listen, fellas, this is the United States of America. Things like that don't happen.
I knew
do it. It's too late already. She's come for me.
Oh, fellas, I think we got ourselves a whole nother problem here. Hey, listen, where are you going? What the hell's going on here?
Now, I just want to warn you about one little thing, Abdul. Houston is not the kind of man who likes to be dropped in on like this.
These some of your friends?
Actually, they're friends of Buck McCune.
Buck? What's he got to do with this?
Buck McCune works for me. He's also a friend. He said you'd be the best man to help me. I checked it out. He was right.
Houston, let me introduce you. This is King Abdul Ibn Hassim. Now, last night, his 14-year-old son was kidnapped from the king's own jet. In flight, Buck was the pilot.
Maybe in flight. You mean they parachuted?
Yes. I love my son very much, Mr. Houston. I need your help.
Well, I'll tell you something, Your Highness. I appreciate a father's love for his child. And being a friend of Buck's is not going to hurt you either. But I do not like talking at gunpoint. Bless you.
I can assure you, Mr. Houston, no offense was meant sending my security people here first. It's just that after the kidnapping last night...
Now, hold on a minute. Kidnapping. Now, I read the newspaper every morning. Now, how come I have not heard or seen anything about this?
That's because I can't afford to have your police or government involved. Political situations at home make it necessary for this to be handled in utmost secrecy.
How can I help your son?
My aircraft is only operated with top security measures in force. The only way the kidnapper could have gotten aboard last night was if someone already on the plane helped him.
Houston, the Royal Security Force gave us dossiers on all the people on board. Now, that information is being fed into Baby right now.
Well, Your Highness, I'll do the best I can. How can I get in touch with you?
At the consulate. The kidnappers are supposed to contact me there this afternoon. Mr. Houston, speed is of the essence.
I'll keep that in mind.
Thank you.
Hello there, baby.
Now, besides King Abdul, there were only 6 other people aboard that flight during the kidnapping. So let's start with the kidnapped victim himself.
Alrighty.
You've got Ali Ibn Abdul. Now, he's the king's only son. He apparently is a very bright boy. He goes to a prep school in England. Now, the next 2 men you can safely eliminate because both the co-pilot and the security guard were killed trying to prevent the kidnapping.
Sounds like we're kind of hurting for suspects.
Until we come to Fahad Ibn Hassim. Now, he is the uncle of the boy. He's the brother to the king. Now, their father, who was then king, died 18 months ago, and there was an incredible power struggle. And apparently a lot of people were surprised when Abdul walked away with the crown.
Including Fahad?
A rumor has it he was plotting a military takeover.
Well, I think you better dig a little deeper on that one, CJ. I'd like to know exactly what happened and what went wrong.
You got it.
Who's next?
Next is Jessica Collier. Now, her father established Swingers International Empire, starting with the magazine, of course. And when he died last year, she took over.
What was she doing on the plane last night?
She was catching a ride home after a very unsuccessful trip. Apparently, she'd gone to see King Abdul about establishing a hotel casino in that country. Now, he liked the idea, but he didn't want organized gambling in his country.
Is there anyone else?
Just the pilot.
Good old Buck.
Frank Thomas Buck McCune, the kind of man people write movies about. Bush pilot, soldier of fortune, that sort of thing. And now, the confidant and private pilot to King Abdul.
You know, when I was 14, that man taught me how to box. When I was 15, he taught me how to fly. When I was 16, he saved my life in a mountain climb.
Houston, where are you going?
Well, I think I better find out exactly what happened on that plane last night, and I better start with Buck since he got us into this thing. Listen, have Murray check into the little lady's company. I'd like to know how it's been going since she took it over.
What, a company? No, I'm already a week behind.
Murray, don't worry about anything. I'll fill you in.
Yeah, well, CJ, call England. Talk to the boys' school. I'd like to find out how he's doing, especially in athletics.
You want CJ to call England to find out how a boy's doing in athletics?
Yeah. Sports fan, Murray.
Matlock. Hey, old fuzzy Matlock. Oh, boy. Hey, take a look at that. Little old boy got himself a shiny new buggy.
Buck, I tell you, you haven't changed a bit since the last time I saw you, you son of a gun. Tell you something, it's good to have you in this one with me.
Yeah, I'll tell you the truth. This one scares me.
Listen, your pal, the King, seems to think that the only way that kidnapper could have gotten on that plane is if he had some help from somebody that was already on board.
That's a fact. And the only place it could have happened was in New York. I put her down there for refueling. 20 minutes before I took off again, I secured the plane myself. I know nobody was on board then.
So within that 20 minutes...
Somebody got into the cargo area, released the hatch. I'll tell you, whoever it was knew what he was doing. Because he waited until I got over the Mojave and I brought the plane down to about 10,000 feet.
Listen, can you show me a map of where that happened?
Give me an hour so I can try to pinpoint it for you. Anything else I can tell you?
Well, if you can fill me in a little bit on Jessica Collier.
That lady. Well, now let's see. Does the word poison bring anything to mind?
Well, you're that fond of her, huh?
You always were a perceptive little devil. I'll tell you who was fond of her. Abdul. From what I hear, there were quite a number. Of course, that was before he became king. After that, he just kind of dumped her. At least that's the way the story goes.
Good look. But if we're really gonna make this work, you girls are gonna have to be topless. And Henry, take your shirt off too. Nothing wrong with a little beefcake. It's gonna be great. All right, JR, it's all yours.
Miss Collier.
Oh, you finally made it. Studio B. Through that door. Take your clothes off and I'll be with you in a moment.
No, wait, I'm afraid there's been some mistake here. See,
Mistake? Honey, if you want to be a centerfold, get in there.
Yeah, I know, and take my clothes off. But, you see, my name's Matt Houston, and I'm working on the kidnapping that happened last night.
Oh, I'm sorry. I completely got confused. Has there been any word? Do they know if Allie's all right?
Well, no, not yet, no.
Oh, God. Abdul lives and dies for that boy. Not to know if he's alive or if he even survived the jump. What do you want from me?
Well, I'll tell you just a little information. See, now, the person who abducted Ali had to have some help from inside that plane.
No, that's impossible. The only people on the plane were... I liked you better when I thought you were a centerfold.
Well, now, listen.
What you're saying is that we're all suspects, Mr. Houston. And I, for one, resent that.
Listen, Miss Collier, I'm just specifically concerned with facts here. Specifically, the 20 minutes on board that plane before it took off from New York.
Tony will see you out.
Come on now, that's not very friendly. I mean, tell me a little something about the hotel casino you wanted to build in Abdul's country. Now, some folks are saying those things are worth an awful lot of money. They're even saying that they're worth a king's ransom.
Tony, throw him out.
Listen, Hercules, where I come from, if you break it, you buy it.
We've got trouble. Name's Matt Houston.
Listen, I'm sorry. Somebody's shooting at me over there. I'm sorry. Happy trails.
Guess which one is Sinbad the Sailor?
Who cares?
It would be Mr. Houston. I am Prince Fahad ibn Hassim Ahlu Sahla. I greet you in the name of my brother.
Well, thank you very much. It's nice of you.
Yanni. And you would be his beautiful assistant, Miss C.J. Parsons. My brother has told me of you also, but Allah Jabak, you are even lovelier than he scribed.
Well, thank you.
And he says you're a lawyer, too. It's so hard for me to... Come, Miss C.J. Parsons. I have something special for you.
But Prince Fahad, we really think it would be important to see the king, and Mr. Houston feels the sooner the better.
My brother is a king. He will see you when he will see you. It is this whole kidnapping business. It has him depressed. Very, very depressed, I'm afraid.
It doesn't seem to cramp your style much.
Ah, at last. A little token of my esteem for you, Miss C.J. Parsons. The diamonds and the rubies are from the mines once known as King Solomon. The gold... What does it matter where gold comes from?
Prince Fahad, thank you, but no thank you.
So, if this is what you Americans call hard to get, people who know me well, Miss C.J. Parsons, will tell you, I get what I go after. I do not tolerate the pain of disappointment well.
Well, this same disappointment that you don't tolerate very well, did you feel the same thing when your brother was chosen for king over you?
You are in luck, Mr. Houston. It seems my brother has chosen to see you now. The secretary will show you the way. Mr. Houston. Tell me, where did I go wrong with Miss C.J. Parsons?
Oh, well, that's easy. See, it was the diamonds and the rubies. See, I'll tell you what she really goes for is emeralds and pizza. Yeah, pizza from Mom and the Belly's restaurant. Oh, she goes crazy for that stuff. Remember that?
Pizza?
Good afternoon. I understand you have met my brother, Prince Fahad. I had to warn you, Mr. Houston. He's not the fool he likes the world to think he is. He's a well-educated, intelligent, ambitious man.
Ambitious enough to kidnap your son? For some kind of power play, maybe?
I was hoping you would have found out something by now.
Well, I'll tell you, there are a few things. Somebody's not very excited about me working on this case. They took a couple of shots at me a while ago.
Yes, I know.
You do?
I was contacted by the people who are holding my son no more than 20 minutes ago. They also threatened that if you were to persist and get too close, they would kill Ali.
Well, how do you want to proceed? Or do you?
In my religion, Mr. Houston, we are supposed to turn toward Mecca and pray 5 times a day. The first time at the exact moment of sunrise. Now you say it might be difficult to know the exact moment, especially for desert people, without modern instruments. But over the centuries, we have found a way. And that is to lay 2 threads on the back of your hand, one black, the other white. And in that early morning moment, when you can distinguish the black from the white, you start your prayers. It's a very delicate balance, Mr. Houston. The sort of balance I hope we can attain in this situation. I desperately want to save my son's life. But I also must know who betrayed me.
They ask you for a ransom?
Yes, $1 billion. I've agreed to pay. On the condition that I talk to my son. They'll call again at 8 p.m.
Did you say 1 billion, as in 1,000 million?
Whoever they are, they did their financial homework. They're being drawn together right now in the form of $100,000 U.S. Treasury certificates. Now you know everything I know.
Yeah, well, almost everything. I just need to know exactly how much time do we have.
I'm not sure I follow you.
Come on, Your Highness, let's stop playing this little game. Now, how sick is your son? How long can he last without that medication?
How did you find out?
Something you said out at the ranch. It bothered me. I did some checking on it. Now, you took your son out of school right before the midterm examinations. And that's not right. Now, your son was a very fine athlete. And then just 3 months ago, he was excused from all physical activity on a medical waiver.
Yes, my son has a heart problem, something that only developed recently. I've been assured it could be corrected with surgery.
That's why you brought him here for the operation, huh?
Yes.
Why is there so much secrecy surrounding his ailment?
Unfortunately, Miss Parsons, I live in a country that sees weakness as a sign to attack. I was afraid that if it were known, some of my enemies would have taken advantage of it.
Yeah, well, I got a sneaking suspicion they already have.
Hey, Matlock.
How's it going, Buck?
Well, up until now, everything's downhill and shady. Then a whole army of cops and the FBI showed up. They got wind of this somehow. They claim an anonymous phone call. Anyway, they're swarming all over the plain.
Houston! Houston!
Oh, boy, you didn't talk to him, did you?
Not a word. Abdul's government is claiming diplomatic immunity, so technically they can't take any action. But I do think they might have a few plans for me, so I got to get moving.
Yeah, what about the map of where they jumped off
I got it. I'll meet you over at Hangar 4.
Gotcha. Vance!
Houston.
Vance, fancy meeting you here.
Look, Houston, if you're involved in this, you've got to tell me. I mean, it's too big. You're talking federal government, FBI.
Listen, Vance, sometimes there's questions friends shouldn't ask friends.
Is that bad?
Off the record.
Houston, you're going to make me into a motorcycle cop again. Yeah, off the record.
It's got to do with the life of a 14-year-old boy, Vance. Now, if this breaks in the news media, he's going to be dead. Now, there's a good chance that he's already dead.
Okay, you'll throw me in when you can?
As soon as I can, Vance. I'm going to need your help, too.
Okay. Guess I'll go see how the big boys investigate.
What the hell are you trying to do?
I was trying to jam the elevator on that bird.
You okay?
Well, considering I just went trolling on the asphalt, I guess I'll be all right.
Okay, that's it, boys. No more free passes. Now you're both going to have to talk. Houston, we have an aircraft belonging to a foreign government with bullet holes in it. And the foreign government is maintaining a diplomatic silence. The fault is there's a passenger manifest with a 14-year-old boy on it when it took off and not when it landed. The
Vance.
ugly word kidnapping comes to mind.
Vance, I need some time.
And what am I supposed to do with our friends from the FBI? Tell them that I was shooting at that airplane because I'm celebrating the 4th of July early?
Why don't you feed me to them? I can talk to them for days without ever telling them anything they want to know.
Now, that's fact I can attest. Now, look, Vance, I know you're sticking your neck out on this one, but if you could just stick it out a little bit further.
What's 15 years on the force between friends? Just tell me, off the record, was there or wasn't there a kidnapping?
Yes, there was, Vance. Now, a 14-year-old boy and his abductor parachuted out of a plane somewhere over the Mojave. Now, Buck's got that spot marked on his map.
Point is, Mojave's a big place. Even if they timed their jump, there are too many variables, too much territory. They had to have beepers on those chutes.
That's right. They must have had a backup team on the ground, probably with a chopper to track down those beepers.
All right. I'll check and see if there's any choppers or light aircraft operating in the area last night.
Well, now the big question is, how do we get you out of here? I mean, even if you go out that window, they're going to spot you.
Now, I'm surprised at you, Buck. I mean, you always told me that you got to think ahead. Now, I've got a couple of notions of my own.
Gentlemen, Mr. McCune is ready to talk to you.
Hey, where's the other one?
What other one?
You know what other one? The cowboy.
Houston, what are you doing in that thing?
Well, right now, CJ, I'm trying to shut it off. What are you doing out here, anyway?
Well, I'm here because Murray got some very interesting information on Jessica Collier. Apparently, as fabulous as her father is at running Swingers International, she's the worst. She's about $40 or $50 million in debt to the boys, if you get my drift.
The boys that break your arms and legs when you don't pay up.
The same. She really needed that casino, Houston. Houston, why don't you try turning off the key?
That was going to be my next move, CJ.
Good. Meanwhile, Houston, the consulate called, and the king wants you to be there before 8 o'clock tonight.
That's when the kidnappers are going to call, 8 o'clock.
You got it.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Houston. I wanted to personally apologize for wasting your time and risking your life. I've told my secretary to mail you a check. I hope it will be satisfactory.
A check?
It's very simple. Your services are no longer required, Mr. Houston. It's over.
What happened? Did something happen to your son?
No, not yet. So far, the only thing that has happened is that allies played a great joke on me.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm afraid I still don't understand you.
It was to be Abdul the Reformer. I, who placed myself above my brother because he squandered his wealth. I was going to return the oil wealth of our country to the people, feed the hungry, clothe the poor, and then they stole my only son. In order to buy him back, I was ready to forget all, the hungry, the poor, everything.
You mean you're not going to pay the ransom?
Still don't understand, Mr. Houston. That's the great joke. I, Abdul the Reformer, went to loot the treasury. It was too late. The first of my reforms had already started. Mr. Houston, I don't have the money to ransom my son.
You can raise the cash somehow. I mean, there's got to be other sources.
Of course, but it would take time. By then, my son would be dead.
Abdul, look at me. Look at me. And no one is going to blame you for trying to save your son's life. Now, what are you going to tell them when they call back?
What can I say? I don't have the money. I could raise a few millions, but I wouldn't settle for that now.
Abdul, damn it. I will do anything. You just stall. I will deliver it.
You would, but how?
Listen, we can fill a suitcase full of newspaper, anything. We got to stall.
They'll kill you if they find out.
Listen, we have not got another choice right now. Now, come on. Go ahead.
This is Abdul.
Father?
Ali? How are you, Ali?
They're treating me all right. I'm cold. I don't feel very well.
You have heard he's alive? Do you have the ransom? All of it?
I have it all! All in treasury certificates. They'll be delivered by a man named Matt Houston.
We will call again. 5 a.m. with final instructions.
How can I help you?
Well, for starters, how'd you do on the Mojave location?
Good and bad. There was a copter operating in the area that night, probably the one that picked up the boy and the kidnapper. The bad is...
Let me tell you, they don't have a flight plan and nobody knows who they are.
You got it.
Vincenzo! Vincenzo, è qui un'altra volta, eh? That crazy man, he just pulled up out front again.
Crazy man.
Ma quel matto là, the one who has the bed sheets on his head. The one who says he wants to buy my restaurant.
Prince Fahad? What would he be doing here?
Well, I'm afraid that's my fault. See, I told him that you were crazy for Mama's Pizza.
You did?
Miss C.J. Parson, I called your house, your office, looking for you. Green emerald. For the green envy every woman must feel when she see your beauty.
You told him about those two?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Madame Novelli, please, 1,000 pardons. I make it 5 million for this lovely restaurant. 10 million. Price does not matter. It is a love offering.
Vince, I think I better be going now.
Houston, where are you going?
Well, to tell you the truth, I'd rather catch a kidnapper tonight than have to make that delivery tomorrow. Anyway, I better start eliminating some of these suspects.
Suck time, Mr. Houston, leaving so soon.
Oh, yes, Prince, but I tell you what, I'll be talking to you real soon. Listen, the emeralds and the pizza at work, she's crazy about you.
Hello.
You enjoy drinking alone?
Well, only when I know a pretty lady's gonna join me. A little, bubbly.
Thank you. On the phone, you said it was urgent. Had to do with Allie's life.
Oh, yes, it is urgent. Yeah, it's got to do with your life and my life and possibly how much money we're both gonna make out of this deal. You see, King Abdul wants me to deliver the ransom money. Well, you know all about that anyway.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, Jessica, I mean, you set up the whole kidnapping thing.
You're out of your mind.
Jessica, why don't you just knock it off? Your company's been going downhill ever since you took it over. You borrowed an awful lot of money from some people who get very nasty when you don't pay them back. You and your relationship with King Abdul, no, that sure didn't make it very hard to set things up, now did it?
Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? I loved little Ellie as if he were my own. I loved Abdul before. So I'm a lousy businesswoman, Mr. Houston. That doesn't make me a kidnapper. Someone who could turn on the people she loves. Abdul.
Sorry, Jessica.
I'm sorry, Jessica. We cannot take any chances. Now, what I told you on the phone is true. It is a matter of life and death. Ollie's.
This is Abdul.
Listen carefully. I'm only going to say this once.
Now, you listen to me, friend, for just one moment. Now, I know you're doing exactly what you're told. But I tell you, this thing could go a whole lot smoother and a whole lot faster if you just put your boss on the phone. Put Buck McEwen on the phone.
Hello, Matlock. Sorry to disappoint you.
Listen, Buck, it's not too late to turn this thing around. Just please let that boy go, all right? And I promise you, I will give you time to get away.
Bottom line, Matlock, I get the money or the boy dies.
Where and when?
Payphone, Griffith Park Observatory, 8 a.m. Of course, you know I'm going to have to put you through a few paces to make sure you're alone.
Houston.
Hello there, Matlock.
Hello, Buck.
Look, old buddy, there's no point in either one of us getting hurt. Just remember I taught you most of what you know.
Yeah, when did you forget the most important things she taught me, Buck? Like honesty and the value of one man's word to another.
Now, here's the bottom line. If you look across the street, you'll see a motorcycle. Just go in the direction it's pointed. You take the first fire road. You got 4
minutes to get to the payphone at the bottom of the fire road. Otherwise, the boy's never going to be seen again.
Payphone at the bottom of the fire road, Ben. I'm sorry, ladies. Are you all right? I'm all right, Vince. I just took a little spill. Houston.
The path in front of you leads to the
miniature train depot. You got 3 minutes to reach the payphone.
On my way to the miniature train, Vince.
Houston, where the hell are you?
Listen, you gotta know I'm by myself right now. Now, come on, what do you say you slow the pace down a little bit?
You see the bus stop across the street?
Be a bus along any minute. Beyond it.
Get in the bus, Vince. As soon as I know where it's going, you'll be the first to know.
Buck, I trained you pretty good. Not you, just the money.
No, without the boy, Buck.
I'll use it if I have to, and I don't want to hurt you.
Listen to me, Buck. That boy's not got a chance unless he gets to a doctor in a hurry.
Put in the money, or the boy hasn't got a chance.
Listen, kid, how'd you like to rent your van? Here's my card, and, well, here, take all of it. I appreciate it, thanks.
Awesome, Mr. Houston.
Head for the airport. Make sure the plane's ready. Cakewalk all the way. How's the boy doing?
Piece of cake. We've been hacked.
What are you talking about?
I told you not to bring him in on this, but you had to show off. Let them investigate. You never suspect us, Dan.
Just put it down, all right? There's no use. Now give it up.
He's right, Krieger. It's over. It's all over.
Only if I go to prison. There are only two people who can do that. I'm gonna kill.
Krieger! Boy, that was pretty stupid, wasn't it? Don't let the medics get to me, okay? Couldn't handle prison.
Buck, why'd you do it?
Too many things, too many places. And that was a chauffeur, a private jet, brass ring. I just could never catch the brass ring. Hey, Madeline. Don't be mad, huh?
Buck. You're gonna be all right, son. Come on.
Where's Buck McEwen?
Inside, Vince. You just saved my life again.
How'd you ever get on to Buck in the first place?
Process of elimination. Once he decided Jessica Collier didn't do it, he checked into the background of Prince Fahad and discovered that he couldn't have organized a Cub Scout raid on a marshmallow hunt.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I'll tell you, when I was about 8 or 9 years old, we were still living in Lubbock at the time. And they had a minor league ball club there, and these guys were just terrific. There's one guy on that team that was so good. Oh, he was my favorite. I remember one Saturday morning, I took off real early and I ran all the way down there and I got my little autograph book, you know, and I stuck it out and, you know, get those autographs. And there he is. He's coming across the field at me. Just as big as life. And I ran up to him and I stuck that book out, you know, I was all smiles and everything. And he said, "Why don't you get the hell out of my way?" You know. And that's some feeling. I don't think I'll ever forget that. I don't think I've ever felt worse in my life. Up until now. Listen, everybody, I'm sorry. I'm being kind of a wet blanket tonight.
You don't have to explain nothing, Houston. Actually, we stopped by to try to cheer you up. Got some good news about Beulah.
Beulah? Fellas, I forgot all about Beulah. Is she still coming after you?
Well, she was, till I outslickered her. I sent word that I'd joined the Peace Corps. He said he'd been sent off to Africa. And Houston, that woman's so dumb, she took every word of it.
Lamar! Lamar Pettibone, where are you hiding? Lamar! Lamar Pettibone!
Sorry, Mr. Burnham, we're going to have to check your briefcase.
Didn't I tell you clowns that today's Saturday?
Good morning.
Sir, if you would just...
Ah, what's the use here? Keep it. Compliments of Herman Burnham.
Have a nice day.
The last 2 weeks, Murray had been screaming at Houston about spending too much time on his detective agency and none on his empire. So today, Houston promised Murray they'd spend the whole day catching up on a logjam of paperwork. What Houston didn't know was that 2 hours ago, Murray's entire life had been turned upside down.
Houston, thank God you're here. There's not a moment to spare. Well, now, slow down, Murray. We got all day. I specifically set this whole day aside to read all that needs reading, sign all that needs signing, and generally exec everything that needs exec. No, you can't.
What do you mean I can't?
Houston, I want to hire you as a detective.
You want a what?
Well, you heard him. You want a what?
It's an important case. And I have to warn you, should you decide to accept this assignment, it could be dangerous. But Houston, I think you're the man for the job.
Well, thank you, Murray. Why don't we talk about this inside?
In a way, of course, it's your fault. You might keep that in mind when we discuss your fee.
Well, consider it kept in mind, Murray. Now, what's your problem?
You know I'm one of the trustees for the Meadowood Children's Home.
Oh, I remember when you volunteered to help and you invested some money for them. Hoyt Electronics, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, because John Gordon Boyd had just signed on to head Hoyt Electronics' video division. It was Houston who showed me the newspaper article. It was his suggestion, in a way.
Well, Murray, I don't give stock tips, but I do know who John Gordon Boyd is. The man's a genius, and everybody around him is going to make buckets of money.
Unless he's arrested for murder.
You want to pass that one by me once again?
Willie Hoyt, vice president and co-owner of Hoyt Electronics, was murdered less than 2 hours ago. Now, the information I have is sketchy, but John Gordon Boyd seems to be a prime suspect.
Well, is there any reason why they suspect him more than anybody else?
It was his robot who did the killing.
His robot, as in mechanical creature?
But of course, Houston, those people at the orphanage trusted me, and now their investment. Please, you've got to help me.
Murray, you got me. I'll do the best I can.
You mean you'll do it?
Mm-hmm.
You'll take the case?
That's what I just said.
So what are we standing around here for? Come on. We got a case to solve, cowboy.
Well, Murray, I'd like to finish.
Let's shake a leg, Houston.
Coffee. Yes, sir.
A few years ago, when Houston met John Gordon Boyd, he was, and still is, one of the world's few authentic 200 IQs. Still in his teens, he became a legend in the video game industry and the creative backbone of Hoyt Electronics.
There's John Gordon. Now tell me, does that look like the face of a killer?
Murray, have you ever heard of Babyface Nelson?
You're a pretty boy, Floyd.
Billy the Kid, and I'm sorry I asked.
Gee, I couldn't believe my ears when Murray called and said you were coming out.
Well, he said you might be in a little bit of trouble, so we decided to wander out. Listen, this is C.J. Parsons. She's my top lawyer and a good person to have around.
I don't know what to say. I mean, all you being out here. Nobody's ever gone to bat for me before.
Have you ever been in trouble before?
Hello. Please get out of the car, gentlemen. Ma'am?
What's this?
All callers' cars must be searched upon entering or leaving the premises.
Well...
In addition, I need you to wear these identifying badges on your person in plain sight at all times. Oh, look, please wear the badge. I'd even be stopped if I wasn't wearing one.
Houston, the video game business is a multi-billion-dollar business, but it's a competition of ideas. First one with a Pong or a Pac-Man wins all the marbles.
Mm-hmm. Murray's right. And the industrial theft of ideas is a major problem, so obviously the security has to be intense. While you're on the premises of Hoyt Electronics, you will not stray from restricted areas. I'll orient them.
Listen, I'll just pull my car around.
No, look, they'll have to park your car. More rules.
Listen, what happened out here this morning?
Well, Willie Hoyt called a meeting to discuss Joey's World.
Oh, Murray mentioned that. Now, what exactly is Joey's World?
It's the ultimate video game.
It's going to be life-size, Houston. It's incredible. You have to see it to believe it.
Anyway, at the meeting, Willie Hoyt said he was going to take control of the company and cancel Joey's world. I don't know. I'm afraid I threatened him.
Yeah, well, don't worry. The man wasn't threatened to death. He was shot to death. Yeah, well, why don't we take a look around, huh?
Right? Whoa!
Why did you shoot him? What am I doing? Do you believe this? I'm a grown man with a wife and 4 kids. I'm supposed to be taking fishing, and I'm here interrogating a tin can.
Don't handle him like that.
It's only a toy.
Robots are not toys. They're changing our world. They're doing the jobs that we don't want to do.
Really? What job didn't you want to do?
John Gordon, why don't you and I talk privately as your possible lawyer?
Don't you see? I mean, Joey 3 delivers mail, but I could adjust him to Arkwell car bodies or dispose of toxic waste in a matter of minutes.
Yeah, how about firing a gun? How long would that take you to rig?
The possibilities are infinite.
Keep that in mind.
CJ, why don't you take John Gordon for a little walk?
Great idea. John Gordon, why don't you and I take a little walk?
I'll catch up with you in a minute.
Spooky kid.
Well, Vince, he's a dreamer. I mean, he sees things a little differently than most of us. How's this little fella work?
You just talk to him. He's got some kind of voice programming or something. It sounds complicated, but it isn't. Anybody can give him instructions by inserting a tape cassette.
Anyone, huh? What's your name?
Joey, what's yours?
Got Matt Houston. I'm a friend of John Gordon's.
John Gordon's a nut, but I love him anyway.
Why'd you kill Willie Hoyt?
Want to try a rubber hose?
Come on, Vance. Feeling okay, Joey?
All systems are go.
How long you worked here, Joey?
I was born here.
Well, listen, have you got any idea who put that gun in your hand?
Why didn't he answer?
I don't think he knows. A robot can only respond with information that's been programmed into him.
So, in other words, he's got no memory of the murder because that information's not on the tape that's inside of him.
That's right.
So how'd he fire the gun?
That's a very good question, Vance.
John Gordon would like Mr. Houston to meet him in Joey's world.
Well, lead the way. Another one.
It's okay, Riley. He's with me. John Gordon asked that you go downstairs, Mr. Houston.
Oh, sure.
Oh.
All right, you go now.
Houston? John Gordon may have a 200 IQ, but Alice in Wonderland and Tinkerbell have nothing on him.
All right, you go now.
Oh, I tell you, this looks like fun.
I knew you'd like it. Isn't it wonderful?
It's certainly, I mean, it's more than I expected. This is really terrific.
Children all over the world will actually get to live out their fantasies and get inside.
Inside the video game?
Uh-huh, exactly. And this is only the working model to get out the kinks. There's going to be a waterfall and an outer space part with a rocket ride. It's going to cover acres. Take all day.
Yeah, listen, I want to take a look in here.
Oh, no, that's impossible. A total breach of security.
Yeah, well, the ladies just went in there.
They work here. They're secretaries during the week. On the weekends, there are test players.
So these girls have been cleared by security?
Oh, completely.
Yeah, well, what am I, chopped coyote meat? I mean, I'm a pretty trustworthy guy.
Look, I'm sorry, Mr. Houston. I know you're trying to help me, but I just can't. I guess it is kind of unfair to have you come all the way down here and just get to see the outside. I'll tell you what. If you promise not to say anything to anybody, I'll let you watch for a while, okay?
Oh, mum's the word.
Yeah, Scout's honor across my heart.
All right, come on, let's go. All right, put your hand right there. Go ahead.
A blonde and brunette, so pretty to see. But now that we've trapped you, you'll never get free. By golly, by gosh, it's time for your ride!
You lose, Miss Stevenson. See, it's just like a video game. When Joey shoots you, you're out. I think I've let you see enough. Joey 5, why don't you go back inside to join the fun?
Oh, boy, charge!
Tell me something, John Gordon. How do these robots know where to aim their blast of water?
Now, that's what took me the longest time to develop. It's a homing device in the badges that the girls are wearing. The same way that Joey knew to come right to you and bring you down here.
Oh, I see. So it's because of my badge that he knows that I'm me.
Uh-huh. Because I programmed him to know that.
Does that mean that the robot who killed Willie Hoyt was programmed to kill him because of his badge?
Probably.
Yeah, well, who else in this company knows how to program those things?
Practically anybody that worked on the project. You see, designing the homing device was the hard part. I tried to make the programming of the Joes as simple as possible. To tell you the truth, I kind of hope that one day every kid can have his own Joey.
That's a good idea. I tell you, I wish I would have had one of these things when I was a kid. I mean, it's great, you know.
Who programmed Joey to kill Willie Hoyt? The answer is any one of the 4 following people. They were all in the area of security before or during the time of the killing. Here you have John Gordon Boyd, Hoyt's creative genius.
Yeah, when John Gordon Boyd was showing off Joey's World to us, I tell you, I saw something in his eyes, and it was a little funny. It was almost fanatic-like. Yeah, who's next?
Next, we have Richard Hoyt, the dead man's older brother. Apparently, the 2 brothers built the company up together, but young Willie objected to the money being used to develop Joey's World. So he and a couple of the other shareholders were about to take over the company.
Uh-huh. So Richard was on his way out. Yeah, well, people have been known to kill for less.
You bet. Now, here we have Herman Burnham, the owner of Burnham Electronics and Hoyt's #1 competition.
Yeah, I know him. He tried to get me into a business deal one time.
Well, from the tone of your voice, it doesn't sound like it was a barrel of laughs.
Yeah, about as much fun as finding a diamondback rattler in your boot. CJ, that man's a crook. From what I hear, he left Hoyt Electronics just 5 minutes before the murder.
And last but not least, we have the deceased secretary, Miss Glynis Duran. She's single, impeccable credentials. Where do you want to start?
Well, let's start with her, CJ.
That figures. Expensive for a secretary, doesn't it?
Sure does.
Duran! Duran!
CJ, I'm getting a funny feeling.
I know what you mean.
Better check upstairs. Mr. Duran!
This one's for the police, Houston.
You might be right. Look at this. Blueprints. CJ, would you look at here? These were taken out of Joey's World.
They certainly were. What did she want, besides your best side?
Hey! Stop doing that.
Good idea.
She hadn't done that.
Do you recognize him?
Yeah, it's Hoyt Electronics' chief rival and my favorite crook, Burnham. Is Mr. Burnham home?
How would you like to have your head stuffed through your collar?
But no. Yeah, I mean, not really. Listen, if I could you... Yeah, listen, now, and you really don't understand this. See, I'm just a passing motorist. And I was going by, I saw Mr. Burnham's name on the mailbox and thought he might like to know that his car's on fire. Oh, it's a big fire. I think you better take a look at that.
Houston, what are you doing here? As far as you're concerned, I'm in South America.
No, you're not, Herman. Especially since you took the photos out of Miss Duran's house. You see, where I come from, they call that breaking and entering.
Only if the lady presses charges.
Yeah, wait a minute. Would you explain that for me?
What I meant was I met Glynis at the Hoyt place, and she seemed like a nice lady, that's all.
I get it now. Yeah, you bribed her to spy for you.
So what? I mean, Hoyt stole from me, too. That's part of my business. You don't think so? Look at this. It's his Joey's World, I'm Marvin's Maze. Two guys working on the same idea at the same time. Now, did he steal the idea from me? Who knows?
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about honor among you two thieves. I'm talking about murder. You remember Willie Hoyt. Yes, he was murdered.
Now, why would I do that?
Because you're a greedy man. And I know that there are billions involved in this electronic video game business. And who comes first at it? Now, why don't you just tell me why you were at Hoyt Industries this morning?
I had a meeting with Richard Hoyt. Like Marvin's Maze, Joey's World is incredibly expensive to develop. So Richard wanted to bring me in as a partner, so we worked together. That way, maybe neither one of us would go broke.
Yeah, but Willie didn't want that. No, sir, he wanted to see Joey's World go down the tubes all the way. And I tell you something, that gives you a very good reason for wanting him dead.
That's true, but I didn't do it.
Blueprints? Photos of her boss. What's it mean?
Who are you and what are you doing in my house?
Oh, well, I'm C.J. Parson, and Matlock Houston had dropped by earlier to talk to you.
How dare you? I'm calling the police.
Well, you don't have to do that, because I've already done it. But there are a few things we would like to discuss.
Oh, you would you?
Miss Durand, we can gather a great deal from those photographs, but...
Get out.
Well, you don't have to get riled up. We just want to ask you a few questions.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, I'm Lieutenant Novelli. I'd like to talk to you, too.
Do you have a warrant?
Why would I need a warrant? I was told this place was burglarized.
You were told wrong. Now I'd like you both to leave.
We do need to discuss those photographs.
Photography is my hobby. Any other questions?
I guess not.
Now, why would she ask for a warrant?
The lady asks good questions.
What lady?
Houston?
Hello there.
Well, this is it. This is where we're gonna build Joey's World. Isn't this wonderful?
Well, this is really nice.
Do you think when Walt Disney was a little boy, that he could see Disneyland, even without knowing exactly what it would be? That he could actually see all those wonderful things, what they would be someday?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I've always seen Joey's World. Why don't you just stop digging, Houston? I mean, just go away. Look, in a couple of days, the police will get tired, and that'll be that. Because I'll tell you, I just can't take the upset. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. But I tell you something, the police are not just going to give up and go away until they find a killer, and I'm not either. You know what I mean? Mr. Hoyt. My name's Matt Houston.
Yes, I know. John Gordon told me about you.
Listen, I hate to bother you any more than I have to, but you see, my client's got a very big interest in Hoyt Industries, and while I've been looking into the death of your brother, I'm afraid I uncovered an industrial spy in your company.
A spy? Who?
Well, I'm afraid it's your brother's secretary, Glennis Duran.
I'm stunned. Do you think she or Burnham could be the one behind the killing?
Oh, you see, that's all very possible, but, yeah, let me remind you again now, this whole spy business is strictly for my client's interest. Now, it's very possible it could have been either one of them. For that matter, it might be John Gordon. As far as that goes, it might very possibly be you. But we'll keep in touch. CJ, I'll tell you what really bothers me, and that's that the cowboy code says that you cannot hit a smaller man. But I'll tell you something, in John Gordon Boyd's case, I'm about to make an exception.
Well, you don't know for sure that he broke your brake line.
Oh, come on, CJ, who else was there?
Well, you don't know for sure that anybody broke your brake line. You could have kicked up a rock and broken it yourself.
If I may make a suggestion?
Oh, come on, a rock? Oh, my Aunt Millie's armadillo.
Time is running out. And I beg to remind you that John Gordon Boyd is our client. The orphans are depending on him. Therefore, wouldn't it be more constructive to direct your investigation elsewhere? Couldn't you make the murderer one of the other suspects?
Maybe you can hit a smaller man if he's smarter than you.
Now, Richard told me not to talk with you, Houston.
Yeah, well, Richard does not count right now. John Gordon, you are going to talk to me whether you like it or not.
Goodbye, Houston.
You just hold up.
What do you do? This is ridiculous. You're wasting your time.
Now, John Gordon, you are going to talk to me.
What's going on? Wait
I'm going to find a baseball
What
bat.
are you doing? This is ridiculous. Will you let me down?
A piñata. John Gordon, you are going to talk to me.
All right, what do you want to know?
But first, I want to know why Richard told you not to talk to me.
Because you might find me guilty.
Well, are you guilty? I mean, did you kill Willie Hoyt?
Of course not. Look, Richard said with all your poking around, who knows what results you might come up with.
Hopefully the right ones. That's what I'm looking for. Now, Willie Hoyt was not the only one you did a number on. Now, why'd you try to kill me?
What are you talking about?
My brake line. You cut my brake line out on the hillside. Now, Hoyt and yourself were the only ones there, and I talked to him till I left. Now, it had to be you.
I don't know anything about your brake line. Why didn't you ask Burnham?
Burnham?
Yeah, he was supposed to meet us out there, too.
Well, now, if you tell me Miss Glennis Duran was supposed to show up out there, I just figure it was a nice big family picnic.
She was there. Didn't you see her?
No, but maybe I should.
Oh, don't worry about it, Houston. Joey, will you please?
Immediately, John Gordon. What should we do to Mr. Houston?
See, Houston? My Joey's can do lots of things. You know, that really wasn't very nice of you to hang me up there. Not very nice at all.
Should we make him inoperative? We can dismantle him. We're waiting, John Gordon. We're waiting, John Gordon.
I'll talk to you later. Well, you're an industrious lady working on Sunday.
I'm cleaning out my office. I have been fired thanks to your meddling.
Oh, now, come on. You can't be angry at me for finding out you were spying for Burnham. I mean, that's my job.
You wouldn't understand. Anyway, it doesn't matter now that Willie's gone.
Willie? You called him Willie, not Mr. Hoyt?
What's the matter, Mr. Houston? Don't I look the part? That's right. I was Willie's lady. No one knew it. Now it doesn't matter if they know.
So you loved him, huh?
More than I could tell you.
I'll tell you something, it's easy to say that you love somebody, but I mean, really, here you are stealing all of his secrets and selling them to Burnham. I mean, unless he wanted you to steal those secrets and sell them to Burnham. That's it, isn't it? Yeah, because he would have done anything to keep Joey's world from getting off the ground. And Burnham double-crossed him, went in partners with Willie's brother. Just to finish up Joey's world.
When Willie found out, he said he'd kill Burnham.
Yeah, unless Burnham got to him first.
CJ, listen, get hold in the belly and tell him to meet me over at Burnham's. If I'm not mistaken, that man has just become our #1 candidate for killer.
Will do.
Right.
Bye.
You again? How do you keep getting past my man?
Well, you see, it's survival instincts. You see, I have this reverence for life, especially my own. You really ought to have the same reverence, Mr. Burnham.
What are you talking about?
Well, I'll tell you something. It's really quite simple. You can... Oh, now wait, listen. I'm just having a little chat with your boss here.
Call the police! Don't shoot! I didn't kill him! Don't shoot, please! I didn't kill him.
What are you doing with a gun in your hand?
I came to talk to Burnham. I heard shots. Look, I always carry a gun for my own protection.
Well, until we find out whether that gun shot Burnham, we're gonna have to take you in, Mr. Hoyt.
But
Hello.
Hi. I'm here to see John Gordon Boyd.
Yes, please wear this badge in plain sight at all times and check in with the guard inside.
You bet. Hello? Hello? Guard? Oh, scared me. What happened to...
You're to follow me.
I think I'll come back another time.
John Gordon's at Joey's World. I'm supposed to take you and Mr. Houston there.
Well, Mr. Houston isn't here right now, but I have an idea. I'll go get him, and...
Please, I'm supposed to give you something.
Ow!
It's 2:45. There's no one in the place except you and me. So
Murray? Murray, I didn't know you played the piano.
I got a little story I want you to know.
I didn't know you drank either.
My friend.
Must be that kind of night, huh? I think I'll join you.
Of a brief episode.
Listen, Murray, I can't tell you what a mess this whole thing is in. I mean, it's got me all mixed up. Now, I could have sworn it was John Gordon Boyd, and I could have sworn it was Burnham. But then here comes Richard Hoyt, bigger and alive, standing there with a gun in his hand. The only trouble is that gun wasn't smoking, no, sir. You see, he pulls up to Burnham's house, hears shots, gets scared, reaches in his glove box, grabs a gun, but he never fires it. The events in his lab proved that, and it just messed everything up. So who killed Hoyt? Who killed Burnham?
Want you to know.
Where's CJ?
My baby. And one more for the road.
Murray, what are all these documents here?
And one
Murray, that's the mortgage to your house.
For the... Mr. Matlock. All those poor little orphans out in the snow.
Murray, it doesn't snow here.
The children's home. They trusted me. They depended on me.
So you're gonna mortgage your house just to bail them out, huh?
They trusted me, Matlock. And tomorrow, the stock is going to fall out of bed right down the old drain, and the orphans right along with them. You didn't solve the case. I don't blame you It's not your fault. It's mine. Where's CJ?
I just asked you that, Murray.
Oh. That's right. She got a phone call. It sounded urgent. Meet John Gordon Boyd at the factory.
Well, it's a little late at night, isn't it?
John Gordon Boyd's secretary called. It sounded urgent.
Murray, John Gordon Boyd does not have a secretary.
CJ!
If you're looking for CJ, don't search high and low. Joey's World is the place to go.
Who's your voice today, Joey? Who sent you to fetch me?
Follow me if you want CJ alive.
You get me to CJ. This isn't funny anymore, Joey.
CJ! CJ!
Go in, Matt Houston, and be our guest. A life or death game is always the best.
CJ, where are you?
I don't know where I am.
Pick the right door and begin your trip. But you won't save CJ if you make one slip. One spot should now be in your head. Game or not, one mistake and you're dead.
Houston! Houston, stay out!
CJ, are you all right?
Houston, she'll kill you.
She meaning Glennis Durand? Yeah, it had to be her all along.
She's crazy as a loon.
Yeah, well, she loved Willie Hoyt. Usually when a woman kills a man she loves, it's because of another woman.
Houston, some of the pictures we found in her apartment show photographs of Willie with another woman. We solved the reason for murder and we didn't even think about it. Like Burnham. Now she has to kill us too.
Joey here. I missed you this time, but I won't miss again.
CJ, she's not gonna kill anybody else.
Houston!
I'm still here, CJ. Now you just hang on a minute.
Two joys are better than one. Double the pleasure, double the grind. Whoa! Welcome to our dungeon. The fun has just begun. Be careful where you walk now, or you'll be overrun. Oh, gotcha, gotcha. Joey's here.
Houston!
CJ, I'll get you out of there.
Houston! Behind you!
You seem to have a lot of luck, but soon you'll be a dead duck. Fog and doom go hand in hand. Your fate is now at our command. Death waits behind a door or two. Joey's got a surprise for you.
You haven't caught me yet. Oh, no, I'm not gonna do that.
Oh.
A gift for you. A few bullets of lead, and you'll be dead.
CJ, how am I supposed to get you out of here?
I don't know, but I sure am glad to see you.
No fair default.
Fetch.
Joey's here.
You can't take all their guns away.
Look at this map, Houston.
It's a homing device in the badges.
The badges. They home in on the badges. Take a walk, Joey.
Game's over. No more fun.
It's all over, Gladys.
I loved him. Why couldn't he understand? I just wanted to love him. Why?
Would you get her out of here for me, would you? You all right?
Fine. A lot better off than she is.
Let's get out of here.
Well, when the stock market opened on Monday, Hoyt Electronics stock was as solid as ever. With the arrest of Glynis, John Gordon was cleared, and soon, his dream of Joey's world would be a reality.
Listen, thank you.
Now, Houston, you scratch your John Hancock on this one, and we're done. Murray, good to see you. You'll be thrilled to know that we're all through with our work. Murray?
Maybe I found him like this, you see. I tell you, he looks like a fish that's been on the creek bank for several days. Are you feeling any better, Murray?
Houston, that brandy. I will never, never, never drink again. I swear to you, I will never touch another drop. What's this? Someone's got the same name I do.
It's not the same name, Murray. It's for you.
Yeah, listen, Murray. Maybe you shouldn't look at that right now. I mean, there's a better time.
It's a bill from you.
Well, Murray, you did hire Houston, so we thought we ought to itemize things a bit for you.
Murray, hold on. Just
deals at the end.
Listen, Murray. It's just a joke. The whole thing's a joke.
A joke?